Is it a good idea to purchase the RX 9070 XT to pair with an ultrawide 3440 by 1440p monitor? Let's find out. It's been about 4 months since this graphics card launched, so I think it's a good time to actually check out if AMD managed to address all of the issues that were initially present and affecting the RX 9000 series GPUs. Because don't get me wrong, from a technical point of view, this is an amazing GPU. On paper, it has great competitive performance both in ray tracing as well as raster. FSR4 brought amazing quality visuals for upscaling as well as anti-aliasing. So let's see if this is actually competitive versus its counterparts from NVIDIA. There is no need to spend that much money on Windows 11 Pro when you can get it much cheaper at cdkeyoffer.com. Additionally, use discount code iVadim to get 25% off and bring the total price down to $22. Furthermore, you can find Windows 10 Pro as well as Microsoft Office at much cheaper prices as well. Get yours now at the link in the description below, and don't forget to use discount code iVadim to get 25% off. Basically, I had just one issue with the RX 9070 XT when it initially launched, and that is lack of FSR4 support in modern games. The fact is that NVIDIA's DLSS 4 is supported in many more titles than FSR 4. Although, yeah, AMD did a decent job expanding the list of games that support FSR 4. It is pretty big now, pretty much every Sony game, The Last of Us, Spider-Man, Horizon, yeah, all of those games, they support it. However, outside of that, yeah, the list is not as big as NVIDIA's. For example, let's take a look at the list of the games that I keep on my PC for either benchmarking purposes or just personal use because I want to play those games. And let's just see. Okay, so over here on the left is all the games that actually support FSR4, and that is great. Even if you don't want to use resolution upscaling, you still can benefit from having FSR4 take care of anti-aliasing, because if you turn on FSR3 anti-aliasing native AA in those games or any other games, yeah, it just doesn't look good even at native resolution, because FSR3, 3.1, they are terrible at doing that job as well as upscaling. And over here on the right is all the games that don't have any FSR4 support. Some of them have no FSR support whatsoever, such as Expedition 33. Some have FSR3, such as Altus and Cyberpunk. And some have, like, earlier versions, 2.2. For example, Alan Wake 2, okay? But the mind-blowing thing is that all of these games support the latest version of DLSS, that is DLSS 4, either natively or through NVIDIA App Override. And that right there still remains my main concern and the main problem for the RX 9000 AMD GPUs to overcome. Yeah, basically FSR4 support is, it needs to expand faster, because it's getting kind of ridiculous at this point. It's been 4 months since launch, and the newest games, such as the Altus, for example, let's fire it up, yeah? I'll show you something really interesting on the loading screen. Just take a look at this. AMD Together We Advance. So this is an AMD supported title, and yet it doesn't support FSR4. It has FSR3, so we can't even override this FSR3 to FSR4 as you normally would using AMD's Adrenaline software right here. You go into gaming, and for example, Assassin's Creed Shadows, it doesn't have native FSR 4 support, but we can upgrade FSR 4 using the app. Just flick that switch on and FSR 3.1 is upgraded to FSR 4. So if you value convenience and good image quality, then the RX 9070 XT, as well as any other RX 9000 series GPU, is not for you, because FSR 4 is still lacking in terms of support in modern titles. One more thing, DLSS has been around for a lot longer than FSR 3.1, which is the only version of FSR that can be upgraded to FSR 4. Yeah, so basically all of those NVIDIA GPUs, all of those NVIDIA titles that go back years now can be upgraded to DLSS 4, DLSS 5, or any other future DLSS version, while, you know, you're stuck with just games that are coming out now and in the future if you go with this graphics card. And even then, games like Expedition 33 as well as the Altas that we've seen just now, there are new games, they came out recently and they don't have FSR 3.1, nor do they have FSR 4, and it is unclear if we'll ever get an upgrade to FSR 4 in those new games that came out just recently. But if you're not deterred by all of that, then let's take a look at the experience and the performance the RX 9070 XT delivers on the Ultrawide 3440 by 1440p monitor, starting with Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, Ultra Graphics Quality preset, and FOV at 100. FSR is set to native anti-aliasing. We upgraded the FSR 3.1 to FSR 4 using AMD's Adrenalin software, so we're actually using FSR 4 in this game. FSR 4 looks beautiful in this game, no matter what you're using, native AA or FSR upscaling quality. It still looks good on this monitor, well, any other monitor as well, because yeah, I played this game, I tested this game using FSR 3.1, because when it initially launched, it didn't have FSR 4 support, and it looked horrendous. All of the finer details in the distance, as well as up front, for example, this grass was like a blurry mess. So many visual issues. And now with FSR 4, it looks beautiful. And the 9070 XT delivers a brilliant experience, nice and fluid, well above 60 FPS, using the Ultra Graphics Quality preset. We could go even further and upgrade this experience to a high refresh rate one using FSR 4 quality mode resolution upscaling. Let's take a look. Let's go! 100 plus FPS over here. Beautiful. Let's take a look at this spot right here, 154, nice. This is such a smooth and fluid experience. Good stuff. Just a few hitches here and there, dropping below 90 FPS in certain scenes, but it's not a big deal. We could cap the FPS at 90 and have a beautiful time. Yeah, I like it. I like it. You see, when it works well. In games that do have FSR 4 support, I'm enjoying the 9070 XT very much. But the problem is that it's not supported in a lot of games, which is a shame, because this graphics card is amazing, and that's exactly what we need on the market right now. A good GPU that can take on NVIDIA's offerings. Let's see if we can max out the graphics completely by using the experimental graphics quality preset paired with FSR 4 quality mode upscaling. The game doesn't look that much different, but the main thing that I can definitely notice is that some of the shadows, especially on the foliage, they are looking much better. Yeah, there's no flickering, no weird stuff going on, because this preset has a form of ray tracing. So yeah, that helps with the shadows and lighting. Global illumination is a very difficult thing to compute, and that is why we see such low FPS in certain scenes. Yeah, that's why they call it experimental graphics quality preset, is because it's basically meant for future generations of hardware to take care of it. Even modern hardware can't really deliver a good experience using this preset. Same goes for the RTX 5080. I just rarely use the experimental graphics quality preset on the RTX 5080 paired with this monitor as well. So I didn't expect a completely smooth and pleasant experience out of the 9070. And to be fair, the Ultra Graphics Quality preset still looks good enough. I'm enjoying playing this game on that preset. It's not an issue. Next, let's check out Cyberpunk 2077. It's a good title to check out ray tracing capabilities of the 9070 XT. And we'll start at high graphics quality preset, which is the best way to run this game. It delivers a great experience visually as well as in terms of performance. Field of view set to 100, motion blur, film grain, all of that bad stuff is turned off. Ray tracing is off for now because I want to show you performance without ray tracing first. And there is no upscaling, but let's go ahead and select FSR3 native anti-aliasing to run this game at native resolution. In terms of performance, this is a great experience, above 90 FPS. Awesome, right? But because this is FSR3 and not FSR4 that we're using, even to take care of just anti-aliasing, there are still visual issues here and there. On the foliage or any kind of fence-looking objects, they usually have issues, visual issues, such as sizzling, flickering, all of the bad stuff, okay? It's not a completely garbage experience, but it's definitely worse than what you would experience using an NVIDIA graphics card. Now let's go ahead and turn on ray tracing. Everything is turned on and lighting is set to ultra. Let's apply. Reload the game. We lost over half of FPS. We're now at 30 plus, okay? This is not good. Not good at all. Okay. Maybe I gave the 9070 XT too much credit previously when I said that ray tracing is competitive. Apparently not in all games and not at all resolutions. Because I remember testing the 9070 XT at just normal 16:9 1440p, and it was doing okay. But that's just not the case in this scenario right here. Also, another thing I'd like to point out is that ray tracing on AMD graphics cards doesn't look as good as it does on NVIDIA GPUs that support ray reconstruction technology. And that is pretty much any RTX GPU going back to RTX 20 series. That is a shame because yeah, ray tracing, it introduces some noise into reflections as well as other ray traced effects. You need a denoiser such as NVIDIA's ray reconstruction, and AMD is actually working on one. It's called ray regeneration, that's what they called it, but it's unclear when we'll see it in the wild and if it will be implemented in games, because yeah, judging by how FSR 4 is being implemented and supported, I don't have a lot of confidence in that technology, in that feature, because it could take years before it's widely available. Let's enable resolution upscaling set to quality mode. This is FSR 3. With the help of resolution upscaling, the performance is actually pretty good using ray tracing in this game. But again, this is not FSR 4. If this game had FSR 4, it would have been different. But because this is FSR 3, I just don't think it's a good thing to use, because the image is way softer than it used to be. There are way more visual issues. So it's more of a demonstration of what could have been. That said, this game will receive a 2.3 patch sometime soon, and fingers crossed we'll get FSR 4 native support. If not, then come on guys, at least FSR 3.1, so AMD can actually enable that override feature in their Adrenaline app, so we can upgrade that FSR 3.1 to FSR 4. And just out of curiosity, let's check out path tracing using high graphics quality preset and FSR 3 quality mode. Oh, it's a little bit too much for the 9070 XT to handle. We're in the high 30s in terms of frame rate, although we can still kind of see what path tracing is all about. But because we don't have any ray reconstruction features to get rid of the noise in the ray traced effects, it doesn't actually look good. It looks worse than just normal ray tracing. The reflections are just muddy, full of noise. This isn't good. Clarabska Expedition 33 has become one of my favorite games of all time. It's a recent title, so it's a good indication of how this 9070 XT will do in, modern games that are coming out now or in the near future. Let's set the graphics to the maximum, epic, and this game doesn't have FSR at all. It has DLSS, it has Intel's XeSS, and it has just the normal TSR that is built into Unreal Engine 5. This is an Unreal Engine 5 game, that's why it is there. The best quality we'll get is with CSS. Let's use native resolution, okay? Oh, and preset for some reason dropped too low. Let's bring it back up to epic. The only thing that I like lowering is the post-process. I set it to low every time because this introduces motion blur and depth of field. And I don't like any of those things because they make the image blurry. And I want to see everything clearly when I'm playing the game. We can already see that the performance is below what I would consider an enjoyable experience, which is 60 FPS, although on the ultrawide monitor I tend to prefer 90 FPS. The first thing to do is just lower that graphics quality from epic to high, because the visuals, they look pretty much the same, and the performance will be much better. We just have to lower the post-process once more, and we can bring the texture quality back up to epic, because that doesn't affect the performance. We only need additional VRAM for that, and the 9070 XT has plenty of that, 16 gigabytes. Check it out, now we have above 60 FPS. Consistently. This is much better. Much better. But once again, I just want to stress that because this game doesn't have FSR 4, the visuals are compromised. Because if you don't have an Intel graphics card, using Intel CSS is not great. And you see, this is a common trend in the latest games, especially from smaller studios, is that they just don't want to bother with FSR 4 for some reason. I don't know why, but that's just the way it is. FSR 4 is not popular. In my opinion, having a good quality upscaler is a must-have in modern games, because without it, we can't really enjoy the smoothest, the most fluid experience that we could otherwise get using the upscaling. For example, let's select the Ultra Quality ZSS, which is equal to FSR's quality mode as well as DLSS quality mode. Intel calls it Ultra Quality for some reason. Take a look at this difference. It is massive in terms of FPS. We could just cap our frame rate at 90 and enjoy a beautiful fluid experience. But again, because we're using ZSS on a non-Intel GPU, yeah, the image quality is even worse than it was at native resolution. More visual issues, more problems. The experience is spoiled. It is still playable, but it's not as enjoyable as it could have been. And you could even use something cheaper than the 9070 XT from NVIDIA, for example, the RTX 5070, and still have a much better experience, because you could just turn on resolution upscaling, boost that FPS, and the image quality will be better than if you were using native resolution FSR 3 or ZSS on the 9070 XT. Yeah, it's just crazy how that is. But that is the world we live in. Unfortunately, AMD is still struggling to compete with NVIDIA. Lastly, let's take a look at one more game that utilizes a different game engine and also has ray tracing. This is Assassin's Creed Shadows, and we are indeed at 3440 by 1440p, native anti-aliasing. This game supports FSR 4, but you have to use AMD's Adrenaline app to upgrade the native 3.1 version that came with this game to FSR 4. We're using optimized settings because we don't have to max out everything, but a lot of the stuff over here is maxed out. The main thing is that we are actually using ray tracing everywhere, and it's set to medium quality. Other things are set to either high, ultra high, or very high, which delivers a brilliant visual experience. You can just pause the video to copy the settings if you'd like. This game has a pretty bad performance no matter what graphics card you're using. It could be NVIDIA's latest RTX 50. Yeah, it's still not gonna deliver an amazing experience. You're not gonna be blown away by, oh, look at this, like super high FPS. No, that's not gonna happen. Yeah, it's just the way this game is. So we have to make do with what we have, and what we have is 40 plus FPS, which is already acceptable levels of performance, but it's not a particularly pleasant and fluid experience, is it? So we have a couple of options available to us to improve this situation, and one of those is to use resolution upscaling. Thankfully, we have FSR 4 in this game, so we could just turn on AMD resolution upscaling quality mode and enjoy that. You see, it makes a huge difference. Now we actually have a pleasant experience. 60-ish FPS pretty much everywhere. This is a good experience already, and visually this game looks okay with FSR 4 quality mode. It's not a problem. Yes, there are a couple of visual issues, but it's nothing major. I mean, it's very competitive with DLSS 4 in this game, so it doesn't really matter. If you give me DLSS 4 or FSR 4, I don't care. Both are good enough. This right here is the power of resolution upscaling when done right. It improves the overall gaming experience quite significantly because I'm the kind of person who enjoys a fluid picture on the screen. High quality graphics isn't everything. Image fluidity matters too. Just out of curiosity, let's see how this game does without ray tracing. Alright, same settings, optimized, and resolution upscaling is still set to quality mode. It's a slightly better experience, but we didn't get a massive FPS uplift compared to, when we were using ray tracing. And ray tracing in this game transforms the visuals significantly. So it's not a gimmick, it is actually delivering a pretty good experience. And since we are, getting something like 10 to 15 FPS out of turning off ray tracing, I don't think it's worth it. I'd rather lower some other settings or the resolution upscaling quality a little bit more to get to the FPS level that I'm looking for. In conclusion, the RX 9070 XT is kind of a difficult graphics card to recommend because it has its issues. AMD hasn't addressed all of my concerns. On paper, this is a great graphics card. It is competitive versus NVIDIA's offerings, such as the 5070 Ti, purely based on, just rasterized performance. If you've seen hardware unboxed videos comparing the two, then you know that it is very competitive. But the experience is more than just numbers on the screen. The experience is the visuals as well. And for good visuals, we need FSR 4 to be in every new game. And it's just not in every new game. The Alters, freshly released game, no FSR 4. Clair Expedition 33, also a relatively fresh game, no FSR at all whatsoever. And yeah, in all of these games, it's not present. So DLSS 4 still wins, NVIDIA still wins. If you're looking for an effortless, pleasant gaming experience, then NVIDIA is still the way to go. Forget about AMD. But if you found this graphics card at a very, very attractive price and you don't mind doing some tinkering, then it could be worth it for you. Because you can use third-party apps such as upscaler to inject FSR 4 in some of these games. Bear in mind that it doesn't work every time, and if something goes wrong, then you are kind of on your own, because AMD does not officially support that tool. They support their own AMD Adrenaline app, where you can use this switch to inject FSR 4 into games that have FSR 3.1, but any other games that have FSR 2 or FSR 3, yeah, it's not gonna work. If you are interested in this graphics card or any other products featured in this video, you can find them on Amazon at the links in the description below. Let me know, what do you think about this combo, GPU plus monitor, ultrawide? And if you enjoyed this video or found it helpful, don't forget to reward my work with a like. It helps out a lot and I appreciate it greatly. Furthermore, subscribe for more videos like this if you haven't already. It was I, Vadim. Until next time.